Finally, he's gone. We're free now. My daughter-in-law shouted as my son threw a party right after he assaulted me. I'm George Miller, 57 years old, and this morning, my own son Tyler pushed me so hard against my workbench that I hit my head on the metal edge. Blood was running down my face, and my 9-year-old granddaughter Rebecca was crying in the doorway of my garage workshop. She was scared of her own father. I didn't cry in front of him. I wouldn't give Tyler that satisfaction. I slowly got up, grabbed an old rag to stop the bleeding, and walked past him without a word. He didn't even look at me. He just turned and walked back to the house where Michelle, his wife, was standing on the patio with her arms crossed, watching the whole thing with that cold smile of hers. This is my house. I built it 25 years ago with my late wife, Catherine, when we were both 32 years old. Every board, every nail, every coat of paint, we did it together with our own hands while Tyler played in the yard as a toddler. When Catherine died from cancer 15 years ago, I thought Tyler would be there for me like I was there for him his whole life. Boy, was I wrong. Let me tell you how we got to this point. After Catherine passed, I threw myself into my construction work. 35 years in the business, starting as a laborer at 22 and working my way up to supervisor. I built a reputation in Charlotte for quality work and fair dealing. My workshop was my sanctuary, minus $20,000 worth of professional-grade tools accumulated over decades. Table saws, drill presses, pneumatic nailers, the whole setup. Tools that fed my family for 35 years. Tyler grew up in that workshop. I taught him how to use a level when he was 8, how to cut a clean joint at 12, how to read blueprints at 16. I figured he'd follow me into the trades, maybe take over my small contracting business someday. Instead, he went to college on my dime, minus $80,000 I scraped together working overtime and weekend jobs. He got a business degree and bounced between office jobs, never lasting more than 2 years anywhere. When Tyler married Michelle 8 years ago, I was happy for him. She seemed nice enough at the wedding, thanked me for paying for half of it. Another $12,000 I gladly spent for my son's happiness. When Rebecca was born a year later, I was over the moon, finally. A grandchild to spoil, to teach, to love. The problem started 3 years ago when Tyler showed up at my door with Michelle and 6-year-old Rebecca. Dad, we're in a tight spot. Lost my job at the marketing firm. Could we stay here just for a few months while I find something else? Of course I said yes. He's my son. This house has 4 bedrooms, plenty of space. I figured it would be nice having family around again after 12 years of rattling around this place alone. That was the biggest mistake of my life. The first month was fine. Tyler was supposedly job hunting. Michelle helped around the house, and Rebecca brightened up every room she entered. But I started noticing things. My power tools moved around the garage without permission. The electric bill jumping from $150 to $380 a month. Michelle doing laundry 3 times a day, leaving every light in the house on, cranking the air conditioning to 68 degrees all summer. Don't worry, Dad, Tyler said when I mentioned the bills. I'll help out once I get back on my feet. That help never came. Month 2, Tyler started using my truck for job interviews that lasted all day. I'd find beer bottles in the cab, smell cigarette smoke when I got it back. He wasn't job hunting. He was hanging out with his buddies, drinking on my dime. Michelle started rearranging my furniture without asking. This looks so much better, don't you think, George? She'd say, moving Catherine's antique rocking chair to some dark corner and putting her cheap modern stuff where it had sat for 20 years. Month 3, they moved into the master bedroom. Rebecca's getting bigger, Michelle explained. She needs her own room, and the guest room is too small for all 3 of us. I found myself sleeping in the back bedroom, the one next to the water heater that Catherine and I used for storage. 10 by 10 feet, one tiny window, barely room for a bed. Meanwhile, strangers were sleeping in the room where my wife and I spent 15 happy years together, where Tyler was conceived, where Catherine took her last breath. The workshop was next. Tyler started borrowing my tools for weekend projects that never got finished. My $3,000 Milwaukee table saw covered in scratches from cutting treated lumber without proper blades. My precision measuring tools left outside to rust in the rain. My organized tool chest turned into a jumbled mess of broken equipment. Come on, Dad. Don't be so uptight about your tools, Tyler said when I complained. It's not like you're using them anymore, not using them. I was still doing odd jobs around the neighborhood, small repairs and custom work that brought in $800 and $1,200 a month to supplement my Social Security. That extra income was the difference between comfortable retirement and scraping by. But Tyler didn't see it that way. In his mind, I was just a grumpy old man hoarding tools I didn't need. By month 6, I was paying for everything. Groceries, utilities, gas, insurance, everything. My monthly expenses went from $1,800 to over $3,200. Tyler promised he was about to land something big, but spent most days sleeping until noon and most evenings playing video games on the 65-inch TV they'd bought and put on my credit card. The credit card, that's where things really went wrong. Michelle applied for 3 credit cards in my name without my knowledge. She had access to my mail, my social security number, everything she needed. The first one was a Home Depot card with a $5,000 limit, just for some improvements around the house, she told Tyler when I found the bills. George will thank us later. $5,000 worth of improvements that I never saw. New patio furniture that went straight to their friends' houses. A fancy outdoor grill that Tyler used twice before it started collecting dust. Garden decorations that Catherine would have hated. Gaudy plastic flamingos and solar lights that looked like something from a trailer park. The second card was worse. A Chase Visa with a $10,000 limit. Michelle maxed it out in 6 weeks buying clothes, jewelry, and dinners at expensive restaurants. When the statements started coming, she intercepted my mail and hid them in her bedroom. I only found out when Chase called asking why I was 60 days behind on payments. Mr. Miller, your account shows significant activity. We need to discuss payment arrangements. What account? I don't have a Chase card. That phone call changed everything. I discovered not just the credit cards, but a home equity line of credit for $25,000 that Michelle had somehow gotten approved. My house, the house Catherine and I built with our own hands, was now collateral for Michelle's shopping sprees. I confronted Tyler that evening. He was in my garage using my $800 Bosch miter saw to cut boards for some project he'd never finish. Sawdust all over my workbench, my precision tools scattered around like toys. Tyler, we need to talk about these credit cards. He didn't even look up from the saw. What credit cards? The ones your wife opened in my name? The $15,000 she's stolen from me? Stolen? Dad? Come on, you live here too. You benefit from the improvements. What improvements? Where's the $25,000 from the home equity loan? That's when he finally stopped cutting and looked at me. How do you know about that? Because it's my house, Tyler, my name on the deed. My credit being destroyed, he set down the saw and crossed his arms. At 35, Tyler's bigger than me. Nizen 6'2" to my 5'9", probably outweighs me by 40 pounds. But I built houses for 35 years. My hands are still strong, my back still straight. I wasn't intimidated. Look, Dad, Michelle needed some things. We've got expenses. Rebecca's got needs. You want your granddaughter to go without? I want your wife to stop stealing from me. She's not stealing. We're family. This is how families work. No, Tyler, this is how criminals work. That's when I saw something in his eyes I'd never seen before. Not shame, not regret, anger. Pure anger that I was standing up to him. You know what your problem is, Dad? You're selfish. You've been living alone in this big house for 15 years, hoarding money, hoarding space. We come here to help you out, to give you some company, and all you can do is complain about money. Help me out. I'm the one paying for everything. I'm the one whose credit is ruined. I'm the one sleeping in a storage room while you live in my bedroom. But I didn't say any of that. I just turned and walked away. The next morning, I found Tyler going through my filing cabinet. My personal papers spread across the dining room table, insurance policies, bank statements, investment accounts, even Catherine's death certificate. What are you doing? Just organizing your paperwork, Dad. Some of this stuff is really out of date. I looked closer. He had my will out, the one that leaves everything to him. My retirement account statements showing $190,000 in savings. My life insurance policy worth $250,000. Put that stuff away, Tyler. Dad, we need to talk about your finances. You're not getting any younger. Maybe it's time to think about making some arrangements. Arrangements, like signing over power of attorney so he could steal everything legally. The only arrangement I'm thinking about is you finding your own place. His face darkened. What's that supposed to mean? It means you've been here 18 months. You promised a few weeks. Time to go. Tyler stood up slowly, all 6'2" of him. Go where, Dad? You want your granddaughter living in some crappy apartment because you're too cheap to share your house? I want my son to get a job and support his own family. I'm trying to get a job. The economy's tough. Not too tough to spend $15,000 on credit cards. That's when Michelle walked in. She'd been listening from the kitchen. George, you're being unreasonable. We're not asking for charity. We help around here. We're family. Family doesn't forge signatures. Family doesn't steal. Michelle's mask slipped then. The fake sweetness disappeared and I saw the real her for the first time. Steal? You mean using a tiny bit of the equity in this house that's going to be Tyler's anyway? You mean making some improvements that benefit everyone? You're acting like we're strangers. You're strangers. You've been living here for 18 months and I don't even know who you are anymore. Tyler stepped closer. Careful, Dad. Careful of what? Careful how you talk to my wife. The threat was clear, but I'd been threatened by bigger men than Tyler. Construction sites aren't Sunday school. I'm talking to the woman who's destroying my credit and stealing my money. I'll talk to her however I want in my own house. That's when Tyler shoved me. Not hard enough to knock me down, but hard enough to make his point. I'm 57 years old, but I've still got good balance. I stayed on my feet. Next time you disrespect my wife, it'll be worse than that. Michelle was smiling now. Really smiling, like she was enjoying watching her husband threaten his father. I looked at both of them standing in my dining room, surrounded by my personal papers in the house I built with my own hands, and I realized something that broke my heart. I didn't have a son anymore. I had 2 thieves living in my house, planning to take everything I'd worked 35 years to build. But I also realized something else. I wasn't done fighting. The next week, I started planning. Not planning to fight back, not yet. Planning to protect myself. 35 years in construction taught me that you always document everything. Change orders, material deliveries, safety violations, everything. Good documentation saves your business when things go wrong. I drove to Best Buy and spent $400 on a security camera system. 4 wireless cameras that could record to my phone. I told Tyler and Michelle I was worried about break-ins in the neighborhood, which wasn't completely a lie. The real break-in was happening inside my house. I installed 1 camera in my workshop, hidden behind some paint cans where it had a clear view of my tool area. Another in the dining room where I kept my filing cabinet, 1 in the living room and 1 covering the front door. All motion activated, all recording to a cloud account that only I could access. Within 3 days, I had Tyler on video using my $1,200 DeWalt planer to build what looked like shelving for their bedroom. Michelle going through my mail, hiding credit card statements. Tyler's friend Danny loading my $800 air compressor into his truck, stealing it right out of my garage while I was at the grocery store. But the real evidence came from their conversations. The cameras picked up audio, and Tyler and Michelle talked freely when they thought I wasn't around. How much do you think the house is worth? Michelle asked one evening while I was supposedly taking a shower. Probably $320,000. Dad paid it off years ago, so it's pure equity, and when he dies, it all comes to you, according to his will. Yeah, but we can't wait for that, we need money now. What about getting him declared incompetent? He's been acting strange lately, forgetting things. I hadn't been forgetting anything. They were gaslighting me, moving my things and then acting like I'd misplaced them. Maybe, Tyler said, or we could get him to sign a power of attorney for his own protection. Protection. They wanted legal control over my finances so they could steal everything without having to forge my signature. I saved every video to 3 different cloud accounts. I made copies on flash drives. I documented every fraudulent charge, every stolen tool, every conversation about taking my house. But I needed more than video evidence. I needed expert help. I called my neighbor Lisa Coleman. We'd been friends for 20 years. She watched Catherine fight cancer, came to the funeral, helped me get through those first lonely months. If anyone would understand what was happening, it was Lisa. George, what's wrong? You sound terrible. Lisa, I need to talk to someone. Can I come over? I showed up at her kitchen table with a folder full of credit card statements, bank records, and a tablet with the security videos. Lisa listened without interrupting while I explained everything. When I finished, she was quiet for a long time. George, this is elder abuse, financial abuse. You need to call the police. He's my son, Lisa. He's a criminal, George, and criminals don't get a free pass because they're family. She was right, but calling the cops on Tyler felt like giving up on him completely. Like admitting I'd failed as a father. Let me give you someone's number first, Lisa said. Jennifer Mason. She's an attorney who specializes in family law and elder abuse. At least talk to her before you do anything. I took the number, but didn't call, not yet. Part of me still hoped Tyler would come to his senses, get a job, move out on his own like a man should. That hope died 3 days later. I came home from Home Depot to find Tyler in my workshop with 3 of his buddies, Danny, Rick, and some kid I didn't recognize. They had my tools spread out on a tarp, like they were having a garage sale. What's going on here? Tyler looked up from my toolbox, just organizing your stuff, Dad. Some of this equipment is worth good money. Worth good money for what? For selling. You've got tools here you haven't used in months. Why let them sit around when we could get some cash for them? My tools? The tools I'd bought over 35 years of working. The tools that built this house, put Tyler through college, paid for his wedding. He wanted to sell them for cash. Put everything back. Now Danny stepped forward. Come on, old man. Tyler says you don't use this stuff anymore. Tyler doesn't get to decide what I use. Rick picked up my professional-grade circular saw worth $450. This one's mine. Tyler owes me money. Put it down. Or what? I walked over and took the saw out of his hands. Or you're stealing from me, and I call the cops. That's when Tyler exploded. Cops? You're gonna call cops on your own family? You're not acting like family. We're not acting like family? Dad, we moved in here to take care of you. You're 57 years old, living alone, getting forgetful. We're trying to help. Forgetful again. The gaslighting. I'm trying to help too, the young kid said, reaching for my nail gun. This stuff is just collecting dust. I grabbed his wrist. Don't touch my tools. Tyler stepped between us. Let go of him, Dad. Tell him to let go of my nail gun. Dad, you're embarrassing yourself. These guys are my friends. They're trying to help us make some money so we can get our own place. You want your own place? Get a job. I'm trying to get a job. But in the meantime, we need money. You've got thousands of dollars worth of tools you don't use. I use them every week. For what? You're retired. I'm semi-retired. I still do jobs around the neighborhood. Michelle appeared in the garage doorway. George, what's all the shouting about? Your husband is trying to sell my tools. Well, maybe you should sell some of them. You could use the money and we could use the space. The space. My workshop. My sanctuary. They wanted that too. This is my garage. These are my tools. Nobody's selling anything. Tyler's friends started packing up, sensing trouble. But Tyler stood his ground. Dad, you need to be reasonable. We're living here rent-free, but we have expenses. Rebecca needs things. Michelle needs things. I need things. Then get a job and buy them. That's when he shoved me hard right into the workbench. My head hit the metal edge and I felt something warm running down my face. Blood, Rebecca screamed from the doorway. She'd been watching the whole thing. Tyler's friends scattered fast. Nobody wants to be around when someone's bleeding and a kid's crying. I touched my head, blood on my fingers. Tyler stood there breathing hard, looking at what he'd done for a second. I thought I saw regret in his eyes. Then Michelle spoke. George, you made him do that. You were being aggressive with his friends, aggressive. I was protecting my property from thieves, and she called it aggressive. Get out of my garage, I said quietly. What? All of you get out of my garage. Now Tyler didn't move. Dad, let's just calm down and talk about this. There's nothing to talk about. You assaulted me in my own house. I didn't assault you. You lost your balance. Michelle nodded. Tyler's right. You stumbled and hit your head. You should be more careful. They were already rewriting history. In 10 minutes, they'd convinced themselves I fell on my own. Good thing I had everything on camera. I walked past them into the house. Rebecca followed me, crying. Grandpa, are you okay? There's blood on your shirt? I'm fine, sweetheart. Just a little bump. I went to the bathroom and cleaned up the cut. It wasn't deep, but it was visible. Evidence. I took photos with my phone from 3 different angles, with time stamps. While I was bandaging my head, I could hear Tyler and Michelle in the living room. We need to accelerate our timeline, Michelle said. He's getting suspicious about the credit cards. What do you suggest? Power of attorney. We tell him it's for his own protection in case he gets hurt or sick. Then we can access his retirement accounts legally. He'll never sign that. He will if we make him think it's his idea. Or if we make him think he's getting forgetful and needs help. What about the house? Once we have power of attorney, we can take out a bigger equity loan. Maybe $100,000. That'll tide us over until he dies. My own son, planning for my death like it was a business transaction. I called Jennifer Mason that afternoon. Mr. Miller, Lisa Coleman told me you might be calling. Can you come in tomorrow morning? I spent 2 hours in Jennifer's office, showing her everything. The credit card statements, the home equity loan papers with forged signatures, the security videos, the photos of my head wound. She took notes and asked detailed questions. This is a strong case, Mr. Miller. Identity theft, financial elder abuse, assault, fraudulent loan applications. But I need you to understand, if we proceed, your son will likely face criminal charges. I thought about Tyler as a little boy, how excited he got when I taught him to use a hammer, how proud I was when he graduated college, how happy he looked on his wedding day. Then I thought about him planning to steal my retirement money and waiting for me to die. What do we need to do? File for an emergency restraining order. With the assault and the evidence of ongoing financial crimes, we can get them removed from your property immediately. How long does that take with Judge Martinez? We could have papers by tomorrow afternoon. That evening, I heard Tyler on the phone in the kitchen. Yeah, Danny, come by around 7 tomorrow. Bring your truck. We're gonna load up some tools while the old man's sleeping. They were planning to rob me while I slept. My own son. I called Lisa and asked if I could stay at her place that night. I didn't feel safe in my own house anymore. The next day, Jennifer called at 2 p.m. We got it. Emergency restraining order and property recovery. Judge Martinez was not happy about the elder abuse evidence. We can execute it tonight. At 6 p.m., 2 police cars pulled up to my house. Officer Scott Davis and Officer Nathan Clark. Behind them came Angela Rodriguez from Social Services to handle Rebecca, and Jennifer with a briefcase full of legal papers. Mr. Miller, Officer Davis said, "We need you to confirm this is your property and you want these people removed." "Yes, sir. It's my house. I want them out." We walked to the front door. I could hear music from the backyard. They were having another party. Celebrating what? I had no idea. Officer Clark knocked police. "Open up," Tyler answered, beer in hand, still smiling until he saw the uniforms. Michelle appeared behind him, face going white when she saw me with the officers. "Emergency restraining order," Jennifer said, handing Tyler the papers. "This property belongs to George Miller. You have 30 minutes to collect essential belongings and vacate." "Dad, what did you do? What you forced me to do?" Michelle started crying. "This is our home. You can't kick us out, ma'am." Officer Davis said, "This house is registered in Mr. Miller's name. We have evidence of financial fraud and assault. You need to cooperate." Their party guests left fast. Nobody wants to be around when the police show up with eviction papers. Rebecca came out of her room with her stuffed animal, confused and scared. Angela Rodriguez knelt down beside her. "Hi, Rebecca. I'm Angela. I'm here to make sure you're safe while your parents pack up." Tyler and Michelle threw clothes into trash bags, grabbed what they could carry. Tyler wouldn't look at me. Michelle glared with pure hatred. "This isn't over," she whispered as they walked past. "Yes, it is," Jennifer said firmly. They drove away in their car, the car they'd bought with money stolen from me. After 20 months of taking over my life, they were gone. Officer Davis handed me new keys. "House is secure, sir. Change the locks tomorrow." Everyone left except Lisa and me. We stood in my living room, looking at the mess they'd left behind. "You did the right thing, George. Doesn't feel right. Feels like I lost my son. You lost your son 20 months ago. Tonight, you got your house back." 2 weeks later, Tyler and Michelle showed up in court with a public defender who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. Jennifer presented the evidence methodically. 40,000 in fraudulent charges, forged loan documents, security videos of theft, photos of my injuries, audio recordings of them planning to steal more. Judge Martinez took 15 minutes to decide. Restraining order permanent, house mine forever. Tyler faced felony fraud charges. Best of all, Rebecca could live with me while her parents sorted out their legal troubles. "Grandpa," she said that first night in her new room, "our mom and dad coming back. Not to live here, sweetheart, but you're safe now. This is your home." 6 months later, I'm teaching Rebecca how to use my tools safely. She's got good hands, good instincts. Maybe she'll follow the family trade after all. Tyler calls sometimes, I don't answer. Some relationships can't be repaired. But I learned something important at 58. It's never too late to fight for what's yours. This house is mine, this life is mine, and nobody, not even my own son, is ever going to take that away from me again. Sometimes the hardest lesson in life is learning that blood doesn't give someone the right to bleed you dry, and that standing up for yourself isn't betrayal, it's survival.